Alice and the Apple Tree by Brandon McAllister. In a spot on the map, just north of the east, down a road all alone, sitting last but not least, is the town of Lake Meadow, where we've nearly begun to tell tales of adventures, fantastic and fun.
If Alice could have apple pie, she'd eat it every day. And every apple in that pie would always make her say, "With every bite, oh apple pie, why do you taste so good? You're from a tree, that's fine with me, but trees are made of wood." Perplexed, she checked the internet to solve the riddle quick, but found there was adventure in a journey out to pick. An apple from an apple tree, she'd start her journey there, and skipped to see her mom and dad to find precisely where this apple tree could actually be. She'd hoped there was one near, and finding out that it was far was something that she'd fear. But all was well, as Mom would tell, of trees around the way. To ride a bike and take a hike would take but half a day. An orchard owned by Farmer Jim supplied the market bins, where Mom would buy in ones and twos or pile them to her chin. To bake the pies that Alice loved, also all her friends. And knowing where this orchard stood would mean there was no end to all the pies, and with that thought she plotted out her path. Just down the street where roads did meet, she jotted down some math. It was a course her mother shared, as she had been there too. Once as a child, herself as wild with love for apples who were also baked in pans and crust by her mom just the same. And later on, she passed along the recipe and name. And now it seemed the time had come to pass it on once more to Alice, so when she'd return, she'd see then what's in store. Without even knowing what was to come, Alice turned and started away, singing a song that her mother knew well, as she too sung it back in the day. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, but I'll keep mine for a pie. And to make sure I have enough in the crust, I'll call you the pear of my eye. See, one rotten apple may spoil the bunch, but that's not a problem for me. Because if the core is rotten, I'm sure I'll just head back down to the tree. Oh apple tree, I'd like to ask you why. Oh apple tree, you grow to be so high. Oh apple tree, if you were shorter, oh apple tree, would pick you for a pie. Alice woke and stretched and yawned and hurried to get dressed. As she recalled, she couldn't wait to start upon her quest. She brushed her teeth and washed her face and quickly brushed her hair, then grabbed her bag and handmade map and raced to get downstairs. Her mother stood with lunch in hand, ready for the day. And next to Mom, there was her dad, to see them on their way. And with a hug, they hit the door and headed for their bikes. To save some time, they'd take a ride and cut down on the hike. They headed out to Orchard Street and quickly took a right. They rode until Big Circle came, which always was a sight. The statue of the giant fish adorned the center pad, a tale she had heard many times, but first was from her dad. From there they headed north, she thought, and went up Middle Main, and passed up all the stores and shops, as she had more to gain. Then Small Circle came into view, and there they took a right. They headed out on Apple Lane, and there it came in sight. The apple trees beyond the fence, all owned by Farmer Jim. Her mother said she called ahead so they could go right in. They pulled the baskets off the bike and skipped up to the trees. They started plucking apples off the branches in the breeze. And as the baskets full of apples filled up to the rim, they hoisted them back on the bike so that they could then begin the journey home to bake the pies. Her chest was full of pride. They pedaled back down Apple Lane, excited for the ride. Quietly, she heard her mother singing out a song that Alice learned when just a tot, but now she sang along. We picked and we plucked, in arms we tucked our apples for our pie. and placed them in a wooden bin, prepared them for the ride. A journey home with apples known to make dessert the best. It goes to show how close we are to finishing our quest. Oh apple tree, I'd like to ask you why. Oh apple tree, you grow to be so high. Oh apple tree, if you were shorter I. Oh apple tree, would pick you for a pie. Alice began to smile with glee as Mom pulled out the book. The search was for the recipe her mom taught her to cook. Upon its find, she pulled it out, and Alice got to see the recipe, handwritten by her great-great-granny Bee. It said to wash, then cut them up, the apples at this time. She peeled them too to make sure they looked all perfect and fine. Her mother pulled ingredients and laid them out for her, and walked her through the steps to take, which felt kind of a blur. She melted butter in a pan, stirred flour into paste. She added sugar, white and brown, and water, all to taste. They laid the first crust in the pan, stuffed apples sure to bust, then cut and laid in lattice work the tasty upper crust. They poured and melted butter sauce on top till it was spent. Then in the oven carefully, the perfect pie had went. Alice grabbed out little plates and forks from out the drawer and set them on the table mats where they'd get used for sure. The timer slowly ticking down, she thought that she would burst. While waiting for her slice of pie, she hoped she'd be the first. When it was done, she heard the buzz and knew the time was here. Her mother, using oven mitts, removed the pie with care. Her father, waiting with a knife, was tasked to cut the slice. A job he always loved to do, and it was done so nice. She got her piece and took a bite, so happy for this day. They worked so hard to make the pie, and now she knew the way. Her father hummed a tune she knew with a familiar ring, and all the three with pie on plates together began to sing. We're going to bake, but it's not a cake and doesn't require a flame. And although we have to be precise, sometimes it's not the same. But overall, when said and done, it's such a pretty dish. And the first of many bites to come will prove to be delish. Oh apple tree, I'd like to ask you why. Oh apple tree, you grow to be so high. Oh apple tree, if you were shorter I. Oh apple tree, would pick you for a pie.
Alice and the Apple Tree, narrated by Gina Kim. Print illustration by Sidney McAllister Aspinall. Music production by Cameron Palmer and Tyler Hobbs. Mixed and recorded at Van Studios.